The rules of the game are simple. To begin, lay out the game board as shown in Figure 1.1. All cards should be shuffled and arranged around the board as instructed on page 2 of the reference guide. Also, make sure that the gun is properly loaded as described in Index B. Players should take their seats in a semicircular manner. Once the batons have been placed in the adjacent room, the game may begin. To start, whichever player is oldest flips the coin. The young have enough advantages as it is. If the coin comes up heads, the players will play blackjack, with the coin flipper functioning as the dealer. If the coin comes up tails, then the players will play poker. Only straight poker is acceptable, as wild cards are for the weak and Texas Hold'em is just dumb. Any player suggesting Texas Hold'em should be ejected from the playing area and shunned. Whoever wins the round of cards then gets to move a piece on the board. Each piece starts moving as a chess piece. The rules of movement for chess remain in play for as long as the piece is on the chessboard. However, if the piece crosses onto one of the other game boards, it takes on the movement rules associated with that board. For example, if the knight moves onto the backgammon board, it will begin moving as a backgammon piece does, in effect, according to the roll of the dice. The movement rules of the board always overrule any other movement rules. See? Simple. At this point, players will begin drawing cards from the events deck. These contain special events and statuses that will put new rules into play or allow you to ignore certain rules at specific times. If you manage to jump your bike over both the curb and the sewer grate while the cute girl was watching, you may take 2 cards every round, as accomplishing this stunning feat is a sign that the rest of your life will indeed be more eventful. Whenever 2 opposing pieces come into conflict, shuffle the standard card deck. The competing opponents will play war to determine the outcome. For example, if the white knight is going to try to take the black pawn, but the pawn wins the round of war, then the knight loses the conflict and the black player gets to take the white piece and parade it around as a warning to all the other players. If any player manages to acquire both the cool car and the cool haircut before their 30th birthday, this will give certain advantages whenever trying to take the queen. However, if the player holds onto the card for too many rounds, the queen will always move away from the player no matter how hard he tries. If for some reason you acquired a liberal arts degree, you must spend 8 turns on the intern square. You may not roll any dice, collect any cards, or exercise dignity in any way. At this point, the timer is flipped, and all players must race to grab the batons. The last player to return to their seats contracts type 2 diabetes. Helping any of the other players move to a new apartment will prevent them from playing any cards against you for a number of turns multiplied by the number of flights of stairs you have to climb. However, any cards played against you after that period will have their negative effects doubled. If you have not acquired the companion card before the end of round 7, you must take the Eats Alone status card. The longer you possess this card, the more difficult it will be for you to talk to people. If you were able to make it to the job interview on time, you may take a number of cubes comparable to the number of job interviews you have had before this one. These cubes may be used to build up walls that can block other players' movement and earn you sympathy and the right to ask to borrow money. You may take the red cube and place it on top of the rook. This gives no technical advantages to the rook, but it will make the rook feel pretty, and in some cases, that is good enough. At this point, flip over all of your friends' cards to reveal their negative effects. These effects will remain in play for the rest of the game and cause you to lose 1/4 of your good night's sleep tokens. If any player can figure out a way to incorporate dominoes into the game, that player may replace any piece on the board with a second queen. Play continues in this manner until a satisfying conclusion is met or all the players decide to give up. In almost all cases, it will be the latter. Then, at the end of the game, all the remaining players look back over all the decisions they made, all the wrong moves, all the times their strategies paid off or failed, all the times the other players screwed them over or blocked them from victory, and whichever player doesn't reach for the gun wins. The winner then gets to flip the coin at the beginning of the next game.